Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Shang-Chi in The Legend of the Ten Rings introduces a new Avenger to the MCU, deeply rooted in mystic mythology, unafraid to pose cryptic questions about the monsters and the shadows of our dimension, and the wonderful weirdos Wang has been hanging out with. I'm gonna break down this film scene by scene for all the deeper layers of meaning and the Marvel Easter eggs that you might have missed. The film opens on the black flag of the Ten Rings, the army of Wenwu, played by the great Tony Leung, who possesses the Ten Rings. Now, the Ten Rings organization has appeared in the MCU since the beginning. The terrorist network who kidnapped Tony Stark in the first Iron Man, the operative who aided Ivan Vanko in Iron Man 2, the weapons buyer in Ant-Man, and of course, iconography appropriated in Iron Man 3 by Aldrich Killian and the false Mandarin, the paid actor Trevor Slattery, who actually returns in this film after being extracted from Seagate Prison by forces of the true Mandarin in the 2014 short film All Hail the King, now viewable on Disney+. But here on this flag, the Ten Rings logo has had its central weapons replaced with the hook swords used by Wenwu's warriors. And within each of these rings is a character from an ancient Chinese calligraphy known as seal script. Going from the top, it means power or authority. Clockwise to the right means physical strength. The third means strong or robust. Yeah, a lot of these translate to some version of strength or power, kind of like the Ten Rings. What's up? The fourth means extraordinary, magnificent, or great. The fifth means hero, heroic, or outstanding person. The sixth means power, influence. It's also associated with the male genitals. The seventh means large, extensive, great in the literal sense. The eighth means powerful or grand, and also refers to things that are male. The ninth means strong or powerful. And the 10th means pump or power. Now, Wenwu himself is based on the Iron Man villain of the Mandarin from the Marvel Comics, later renamed Zhang Zhu, but he's also kind of based on Shang-Chi's traditional father, a character known as Fu Manchu. Yes, another bit of very problematic history that Marvel has retconned over the years. Now in the comics, the Ten Rings are an ancient alien McLuhan technology, each containing the spirit of a cosmic warrior, giving each ring a different ability, but here the film reconceives them as equally powered wrist bracelets, evoking the iron strength bracelets of Chinese martial arts like Hung Gar. The Mandarin in the comics found the McLuhan rings in the crashed alien spacecraft of Axon Kar, and later on in this film it is said that Wenwu might have found them in a crater or a tomb, but it's never confirmed, though it looks like the post-credit scene starts to go more into their origin. Now in the MCU past, Ten Rings members Raza and Jackson Norris bragged about the Ten Rings' history of conquest in the Asian continent.
The bow and arrow once was the pinnacle of weapons technology.
It allowed the great Genghis Khan to rule from the Pacific to the Ukraine.
He was a warrior king, inspired generations of men through the Middle Ages.
And now we actually get to see that history, as Wenwu whips his Ten Rings into a shield that deflects all enemy arrows, the previous pinnacle of technology now being supplanted by his. And I love this shot where he extends his rings, hovering from his fist like a collapsible baton, just like we saw Norris use in All Hail the King. Now the film returns to these extensive flashbacks throughout the narrative, so for now, just to stick with the chronology, Wenwu travels through a bamboo forest and discovers a clearing guarded by Zhang Li, Fa Le Chen's character, who duels him in this beautiful acrobatic ballet with movements that are actually based on Tai Chi. Contrastingly, the combat style of Wenwu, and the style that he trains his son and all of his warriors, is based on Wing Chun, a traditional southern Chinese kung fu, but Zhang Li's style reigns supreme as she knocks him off balance. Her fighting style incorporates airbending, something the people of Ta Lo seem to be skilled at, and it gives them a special connection to the earth that Wenwu's mastery over tech that is actually alien from another world can't really compete with. She's literally on her home turf. It's a lovely story that we get to see, and it's a genre referred to as wuxia. You may have also seen it in titles like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It refers to mythological romances set amidst picturesque natural landscapes. The cinematographer of this film was Bill Pope, who actually shot The Matrix. And you can see the parallels in the warm color tones and the wire work, and the way Zhang Li dodges the rings almost as if in bullet time. Now the rings glow blue whenever they're used by Wenwu, contrasting the golden colors associated with Shang-Chi and his mother and her people. Blue is a colder color tone associated with death, since that really is how Wenwu uses these rings, whereas gold is associated with sunlight and life. Wenwu gives himself a chance at life by locking his rings away, giving up immortality, falling in love with Zhang Li, and having two children, Shang-Chi and Zhai Ling. Their mother gives them both these green pendant necklaces, but the fun comes to an end when Wenwu's former enemies find him, the Iron Gang, and they attack while he's away, killing Zhang Li. Now, it is interesting that they are called the Iron Gang, and Iron Man is a longtime enemy to the Mandarin in the comics, but that might just be a parallel I'm seeing. So in his grief, Wenwu returns to his rings, gets his revenge, and brutally trains his son into a killing machine to follow in his footsteps. And he does this with the help of his lieutenant, Death Dealer, based on the killer Death Dealer Li Xinling in the comics. Wenwu orders Shang-Chi to kill the head of the Iron Gang, and Shang-Chi never returns home afterward, leaving his sister behind. Bringing us to the modern day in San Francisco. Shang-Chi, going by the name Shan, played by Simu Liu, lives in a garage, and there's a poster on his wall for the movie Kung Fu Hustle, a martial arts action comedy, a must-see, which also features the use of iron strength bracelets. He and his friend Katie, played by Awkwafina, work as valets at the Fairmont Hotel in a fun fake-out, since if you think about it, several other Marvel heroes have been introduced as the owners of nice sports cars as opposed to the people who park them. Shang-Chi eats breakfast with Katie's family, but on the way in, outside the building, there's a poster reading Post-Blip Anxiety, You Are Not Alone, National Blip Support Hotline. I guess kind of like a post-Endgame version of what Steve Rogers had in Endgame, but now this for people going through the kind of trauma Monica Rambeau went through at the hospital, or that poor Midtown High tuba player who got tackled. There's also a poster for something called Blip Sync, which according to interviews with the screenwriters is a dating app for those who were blipped. Good luck getting them to be honest about their ages. He mistakenly sits in the seat of Katie's grandmother's late husband, and Katie and her mother debate the importance of superstitiously clinging to the memory of dead loved ones, which is our first hint at this movie's deeper theme of ancestral grief. Shang-Chi as a character wants to escape the bloodshed of his ancestry, while his father lets his grief drive him mad and threaten to spread literal soullessness across the world. So Shang-Chi must learn to channel his pain from his father into something different, something positive, which is an idea director Daniel Destin Cretton said was key to his own journey of self-discovery while crafting this film. These rings symbolize that ancestral weight, dragging Wenwu down, but when transferred to his son, they change color and become a force for good. Katie tells Shang-Chi about her Art of Confusion defense tactic, which is randomly singing the Eagles Hotel California. Ironically, Katie and Shang-Chi work at a hotel in California where they may feel like they, in the words of the song, can check out anytime they like, but they can never leave. Now they sing Aladdin's A Whole New World in karaoke, reflecting their escapist fantasies of trying to find a whole new world. But then in the post-credit scene, they hilariously come back to Hotel California with Wang, because as he said, there's no turning back, they're now trapped in this Avengers crisis world, and they can never leave. Katie and Shang-Chi get jumped on a bus with amazing stunt work that keeps your eye on the real object of this fight, not Shang-Chi himself, but his necklace. Meanwhile, in the early rounds of the fight, you'll notice Razor Fist glowers at them from the back of the bus, with fighter Florian Montianu playing the assassin from the comics. Watching this all go down is comedian Zach Cherry as Clev.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Clev, coming at you live on the bus. I actually did take a little bit of martial arts as a youth, so I'm gonna try and grade this fight as we're going.
This same guy previously appeared in Spider-Man Homecoming. He told Spider-Man to do a flip.
Okay, Spider-Man, do a flip! Yeah!
And then after that movie came out, Zach Cherry went on Stephen Colbert pushing a campaign for Do a Flip Guy to get his own MCU spinoff. So it's awesome to see him come back here. Now look closely at the comments on Clev's live stream. They include at Capiopia saying these dudes are regretting their life decisions. Then at Anti-Darkness saying unreal with a purple background. This could be Auntie Agnes, aka Agatha Harkness, often clad in purple. Not really sure what her reality is, because at this point over in Westview, she's stuck in a trance after Wanda Maximoff left her there in the WandaVision final episode. And then there's Climbing Guy 3000 who says, I literally can't even. This could be an alias of Peter Parker, who loves climbing, and he could be shouting out the guy who loved us 3000. You'll also notice how several of the commenters praise Shang-Chi's fighting skills, calling him Bus Boy, which is a bit of viral fame, similar to how Peter Parker initially got the attention of the whole world and of Tony Stark in online videos just like this. And he was a boy literally also saving a city bus. And after he takes down a few of them, the extra award goes to Jean Jacket here, who crosses her arms until the guy falls and her eyes bulge out at Shang-Chi. Now, contrasting the more stylized fight choreography of his elders, Shang-Chi's combat is more practical and slapstick. He uses his jacket, he springs off the elasticity of the bus joint bellows, all parts of his environment to subdue his foes. This style was made famous by Jackie Chan films, all coming from this movie's stunt coordinator, the late Brad Allen, who was a member of the Jackie Chan stunt team and receives a lovely tribute in this movie's credits. And you can see more of this intricate stunt work later in the scaffolding fight. Shang-Chi uses the planks balanced on the bamboo to both swing himself down to the lower level while seesawing it to knock someone in the head, and then later knocks down an enemy to turn that person into a bridge to run across and then knock them down. It's all like a big elaborate game of mousetrap. It's super fun to watch. But back to the bus fight, it all goes down in 3 acts. The second act begins as the bus enters the tunnel, and notice the camera stays on Shang-Chi from the exterior of the bus as he works his way down it from right to left. He throws dudes out the window, just kind of mows them down, paralleling the amazing lateral camera movement in the iconic hallway fight in the 2003 movie Oldboy. But the third act of this battle creates this hilarious crisis of Katie having to take the wheel. Now, as Razor Fist slices the bellows, look carefully, because at first you can see the necklace around Shang-Chi's neck, but then he turns his back to us and Razor Fist starts moving his other hand around. And then when Shang-Chi kicks Razor Fist into the back half as it tears off around the turn and he leaps at us into the front half of the bus, you can see Shang-Chi's neck is bare and his necklace is now gone. And that must have been the moment Razor Fist snatched it, but Shang-Chi doesn't realize it until later. Now at dinner, their friend references the blip when she says they live in a world where anyone can disappear at any moment. So again, yes, this is set after Endgame, and notice how Shang-Chi wears a Silmar High School shirt that on the back says Class of 2017. So if 10 years have now passed since Shang-Chi ran away when he was 14 years old, if he graduated in the year 2017, that would set this movie in July 2024 by the Jazz Music Festival ads on the bus, setting this at almost exactly the same time as Spider-Man Far From Home when he was in Europe, and also allowing us to conclude that Shang-Chi, to be this old, must have survived the snap and must have had to age during those 5 years. Now, to be honest, it's easier to catch these details after you've had a good night of sleep, but no matter how hard I try, it's just hard to get my bedroom completely dark at night. Like, I got chargers, I got alarms, power strips everywhere. It's a constellation of tiny electric stars brightening up my room and just making it harder to fall asleep, but that's where the Blue Block's Remedy Sleep Mask comes in handy. And thanks to Blue Blocks for sponsoring this video. We already know Blue Blocks from their blue light blocking glasses, but their sleep mask goes farther and blocks out 100% of light so that you can sleep better. It has adjustable eye cups and an adjustable strap to get everyone the perfect fit. And it works for people who sleep on their belly, on their side, and on their back. Check it out. You can fully open your eyes while wearing it. Yeah, my eyes are open right now. Does that creep you out? It is great for improving sleep and meditation, napping, and of course it's great for flying. So go to blueblocks.com/newrockstars or just click the link below and you will get 20% off your Remedy Sleep Mask today. My code is automatically applied for that 20% off, so all you need to do is click the link below and enjoy free shipping on orders over $115. To get the best sleep possible right now, get yourself a Blue Blocks Remedy Sleep Mask. Just go to blueblox.com/newrockstars or click the link below to get 20% off your order, code automatically applied at checkout. Shang-Chi follows a postcard leading him to Macau, along with Katie, to this cage fighting club owned by his sister Xialing, but operated by Ronnie Chang as John John. This club is called the Golden Daggers Club. Now, the Golden Dagger was a name from early Shang-Chi comics, Master of Kung Fu number 44, and it was the name of one of Fu Manchu's subsidiary groups. Now, in the various low-level fights in the rooms of the background is a sumo wrestler. There's also a female warrior. We know stunt actress Jade Ju returns in this movie after she played a Black Widow agent in the movie Black Widow. And in the credits, she is credited as Widow, meaning she is the same character from Black Widow, which might be why she now wears black with a red belt. And she must be one of those freed Black Widows from the Red Room, and now she's fighting in Macau. Give her a spin-off. There's also a fighter with flesh glowing red-orange, apparently a recipient of AIM's extremist treatment from Iron Man 3, suggesting that some of Aldrich Killian's test subjects might have gotten away from that battle, and one of them now has his life fighting in cage matches on the other side of the world. But the marquee match, of course, is Wang, Doctor Strange's fellow sorcerer, fighting Abomination. Now remember, Abomination was Emil Blonsky, Tim Roth, who fought the Edward Norton version of Hulk and Harlem in the 2008 film, and we believe has been imprisoned ever since. It is amazing to see him return in the MCU here. This version of him looks different with a greener color and head fins. He also wears pants, similar to his appearance from the comics. But this change was never explained. I presume the way Hulk's redesign between the 2008 film and the Avengers wasn't really explained either. But Wong does call him Emil in this movie, so it is the same character. After Abomination actually hits Wong, Wong gets him back by opening a portal to make Abomination knock himself out, similar to how Wong used clever portal tricks to beat Big Boy avoid Cull Obsidian in Infinity War. Later, the two appear to retreat to what looks like a facility that looks like it has a high-tech containment cell in there. Maybe where Blonsky is being forced to stay when he's not sparring in Macau with Wang. This facility could be the Raft Prison, or some other facility overseen by Thaddeus Ross, because maybe Blonsky is being allowed to train as part of Ross and Val's upcoming Thunderbolts initiative, and maybe they only trusted Wang, this sorcerer, to be his chaperone. Meanwhile, Shang-Chi fights his sister. Behind him is a flag that looks like the flag of Madripoor, the fictional Southeast Asian country that appeared in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The postcard, we found out, was sent not by Xialing, but by their father, a trick to trap both of them in the same place at the same time. Shang-Chi fights the Ten Rings warriors on the scaffolding and fights Death Dealer until his father appears and lays a gentle but terrifying ring-equipped wrist on his shoulder. So they all return to the Ten Rings compound, where Wenwu reconciles the MCU's past depictions of the Mandarin legend with his truth, laughing how Aldrich Killian invented the Mandarin boogeyman identity, naming it after a chicken dish. And we actually see on his video screens footage of Tony Stark's captivity by the Ten Rings in the first Iron Man film. Wenwu plugs Shang-Chi and Xialing's necklace pendants into the eyes of the wooden dragon carving in his shrine, causing water to flow out and mystically bend, revealing the path in the bamboo forest maze that will lead to Ta Lo, Zhang Li's hidden kingdom that he was never allowed to enter, and where he now believes her soul to be trapped in a cave, voices calling out to him. Now, in the Marvel Comics, Ta Lo is one of the God Realms, a small pocket dimension adjacent to Earth, the great canopy of heaven, home to celestial dragons, and the phoenix-like Feng Huang, the wooden Quilin beasts, and the canine-like Hete, and the race known as the Jian. I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of that. And surviving in this compound's dungeon is Trevor Slattery, Ben Kingsley, serving as the Jester. He recaps what he went through in Iron Man 3 and in the All Hail the King short, and when they stumble upon him here, he was quoting the knock 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 monologue from Shakespeare's Macbeth, the drunken porter from Act 2 Scene 3, and in that scene, the porter imagines himself as the man answering the gate of hell, reinforcing one of the themes of that play, that the castle setting is really a form of hell for the characters. And for Trevor Slattery, this is a speech that amused Wenwu enough into keeping him around, which is super ironic since Trevor ends up as a supporting player at this movie's Hell's Gate as it opens. Also, fun fact, Palpatine actor Ian McDiarmid played the porter in the famous 1978 production that starred Ian McKellen as Macbeth and Judi Dench as Lady Macbeth. He is accompanied by the adorable Morris, whom Katie calls a chicken pig, but Morris is actually a Dijang from Chinese mythology associated with the personification of Hundun, a legendary faceless being of primal chaos. This guy actually appeared back in Wenwu's research journal in the movie's opening minutes alongside sketches of several other mythological beings who later appear in Ta Lo. They break out and steal Razor Fist's car, and since we never hear his name spoken aloud in the movie, the fact that his name is written all over his car is really the only way we learn his name, using Morris to guide them through the bamboo forest maze until they reach Ta Lo, where Morris reunites with others of his kind and they see lots of other mythological creatures, including the Huli Jing, that's a nine-tailed fox-like creature, the Fu Dogs, these are the big lion-like creatures that guard shrines and temples in pairs. These are also known as guardian lions, and Wenwu actually has statue versions of them at the gates of the Ten Rings compound. And the vermilion bird, representing the element of fire. And that turquoise horse with the face of a dragon is the Longma, which really just translates to horse dragon. Seeing one of these is supposed to be considered an omen of a legendary sage ruler, which if you think about it, both Shang-Chi and his sister Xialing will evolve into by the end of this film. The Ta Lo people are led by Guang Bo, played by Yuen Ma, legendary Hong Kong actor and stuntman who worked with Bruce Lee in the 1670s with films like Fist of Fury and Enter the Dragon, and the popularity of Bruce Lee in particular is one of the big influences of the Shang-Chi comics of that time. Among the people of Ta Lo is Michelle Yeoh as Jiang Nan, Li's sister, who explains how they are connected to this benevolent dragon that they call the Great Protector, who for them has fought off a demonic entity from another realm that, along with its smaller tentacled drones, feeds on souls. Now the creature is only ever given the name of Dweller in Darkness, and Nan explains how it fed on their vast cities that spanned alternate realms beyond this world. This is the beast trapped behind the seal, who has been in Wenwu's head, disguising himself as the voice of his deceased wife, which is similar to Lovecraftian monsters like Cthulhu and Nyarlathotep, who form psychic telepathic links with mortals, driving them crazy. Nan says the Dweller of Darkness promises your greatest desires, an oddly specific Faustian offer, which could link with the cosmic dark magic of Peter Parker's wish fulfillment spell in Spider-Man No Way Home, and the pulsing beacon beacon inside the 10 rings that Wang discovers in the post-credit scene could be setting up a supernatural interdimensional threat that the Marvel heroes will face in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. A villain like Shuma Gorath, or one of the other tentacled elder gods, or the demon K'Fan, who drafted the Darkhold and in the comics initially cursed Wanda Maximoff with her sorcery. Or maybe a figure like Nightmare or Mephisto, of whom this beast could have been a weapon of their making. Also, this week's episode of What If brought back that mysterious interdimensional tentacle monster from the pilot episode, really the first continuity we've seen on that series. And we've only seen just one part of that giant creature so far. It was one of many mystic demons from other realms that Doctor Strange absorbed. Could these creatures be linked to the one we saw in Shang-Chi? Well, while not everything we see on the animated What If series will cross over into the live action MCU, this definitely parallels Shang-Chi's hints of this demonic tentacled monster from other realms trying to absorb life forces, and it would not surprise me at all if Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness ends up establishing this soul sucker and the What If monster as part of the same family of Elder God-esque beings, if not the same creature. The seal, we learned, is formed from dragon scales of the Great Protector. Dragon scales also form the armor and the weaponry of these Ta Lo Guardians, and Shang-Chi receives his comic-accurate suit, a fabric made of these same scales, which, along with Xia Ling's new clothes, were left to both of them by their mother. And Nan carries that legacy of her sister by training Shang-Chi in that Tai Chi style that his mother used to defeat his father Wenwu, by opening up his fist into an open palm, and setting up Shang-Chi in a final battle to defeat his father using that same kind of dance and beautiful eye contact that we saw in that earlier scene. Also, in this training dojo here, the base of it is windy and serpentine, the body of the Great Protector, showing how in this setting they are bound by the dragon's protection. They train up to brace for this fight with Wenwu and his forces, who arrive, leading to this vicious battle between the Ten Rings and the warriors of Ta Lo. The father and son face off, but Wenwu blasts Shang-Chi into the water and begins hammering away at the gate, allowing soul suckers to leak into this realm. One of them snatches Death Dealer, and the two warring sides decide to join forces against these soul suckers because only Ta Lo weaponry works against them. Meanwhile, deep in the water, Shang-Chi awakens the Great Protector and reconfronts his father at the foot of this crumbling seal. Now, after Shang-Chi failed to defeat his father using the same Wing Chun combat that his father taught him, this time he disarms Wenwu the same way Zhang Li did, using the more graceful Tai Chi movements, bending the rings to his will. And seeing that his great love lives on not in the imposter from beyond, but in the grace of his son, grace that persisted despite Wenwu's best efforts to stamp it out, Wenwu learns the core lesson of this film of ancestral grief, that the pain of our past isn't reason to destroy, it's fuel meant to rechannel to bring life. And I would argue, despite this being a pretty strong origin story for Shang-Chi in the MCU, as a whole, this movie is less of the story of the hero, but like other great Marvel films, like Avengers Infinity War, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Black Panther, this is truly the story of the villain with a complex soul. Wenwu is truly the heart of this film, and it makes it a more captivating story, in my opinion. Meanwhile, Slattery hilariously plays dead, Morris joins him, all while the rest work together to take down the Mega Soul Sucker, including an amazingly lucky arrow hit by Katie. They send lanterns out on the water to memorialize the fallen, and they leave it to Xia Ling to dismantle the Ten Rings network, but as we learn in the second post-credit scene, she actually takes over the throne and expands the Ten Rings operation to return in either a sequel or a Disney Plus series. I personally hope to oversee a fighting tournament of eccentric fighters from the MCU. Katie tells their friends over drinks that Shang-Chi defeated the monster by doing a Kamehameha fireball, of course a nod to Dragon Ball Z, and yeah, that is kind of the move Shang-Chi used to kill it. And after not being believed by their friends, Katie and Shang-Chi are summoned by Wang to join them in a Sanctum Sanctorum, where in the post-credit scene, they meet Bruce Banner and Captain Marvel, learn of the pulsing beacon in the rings, all of which I went into in another video. But I love how the closing image of this film has Shang-Chi joining Wang through a portal ring, a way of showing how when these rings glowed blue, they were heavy burdens chaining Shang-Chi to death, to the pain of his father. But now, as they glow golden, they represent a magical gateway to another world, to life for this future Avenger. You can support New Rockstars by checking out our merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com, like this amazing What If shirt design that I'm wearing. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow and subscribe to New Rockstars. Thanks for watching. Bye.